This video covers the review for section 12.4, ellipses number 9. Find the equation of the ellipse whose center is the origin with a focus at 0, 4 and vertex at 0, 8. And graph the ellipse. Ellipses look like x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equal 1, or x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equal 1. Either way you look at it, you either have a number under the x squared that's bigger or a number under the y squared that's bigger. So if we have the equation of the ellipse whose center is the origin with focus of 0, 4 and vertex at 0, 8, that means the other focus is at 0, -4, and the other vertex is at 0, -8. So this tells us our major axis is on the y-axis. So this ellipse is going to look like y squared over a squared plus x squared over b squared equals 1. And because in the y direction we've gone up 8 and down 8, it says that a is equal to 8, giving us y squared over a squared, which is 64, b squared is the unknown. And now we use the fact that the focus is at 0, 4. The focus is c units away from the center, and the formula for c is b squared plus c squared is a squared. So we say that c squared is a squared minus b squared. So if we use c squared is a squared minus b squared, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. 16 equals 64 minus b squared. Well, that says that b squared is 64 minus 16, which is 48. Or b is equal to the square root of 48. Now, in terms of how large that is, square root of 48 is just a little bit smaller than the square root of 49, bigger than the square root of 36, so it's between 6 and 7, but we'll say that square root of 48 is pretty close to 7. So this means in the x direction, we're going to go out nearly 7. And then we'll graph the ellipse. Nearly a circle. But to finish this off, we see that b squared is 48. And so we write y squared over 64 plus x squared over 48. Number 10, graph the ellipse x minus 3 squared over 9 plus y plus 4 squared over 4 equals 1. Here we see the number under the x is bigger than the number under the y. And 9 is the square of 3. 4 is the square of 2. So we first locate the center of our ellipse. X minus 3 puts it at a positive 3. Y plus 4 puts it at a negative 4. From the center, we go 3 to the left, 3 to the right, 2 up, and 2 down. The vertices lie on the longer axis. So that's vertex 1, and that's vertex 2. Both of those lie at a y value of negative 4. One of them is 0, and the other one is 6. From the center of 3, we move to the right 3, which put us at 6, and we move to the left 3, which put us at 0. And the foci, they lie c units from the center. C squared is a squared minus b squared. Just remember larger minus the smaller. Or c is equal to the square root of 5. Square root of 5 as a number is a little bit bigger than 2 and smaller than 3. So we'll say around 2.2, 2.3, something like that. So from the center, we move to the right 1, 2, and a little bit, and the left 1, 2, and a little bit. To say where those foci are, their locations, focus 1 is 3 plus root 5. Negative 4. And the other one is to the left of root 3, of 3, which is 3 minus root 5. So let me say that again. We started at 3. We had to move root 5 units to the right, and then the other side we had to subtract root 5 units, 3 minus root 5. Number 11. Graph 9x squared plus 16y squared plus 36x minus 96y plus 36 equals 0. We must complete the square on the 9x squared and the 36x terms, the 16y squared and the minus 96y terms, and so we subtract 36 from both sides. We need to make the coefficient of x squared and y squared 1, so we factor out the 9. Now we divide the coefficient of x by 2 and square that. But by adding 4 in the parentheses, that's really 9 times 4, which is 36, so we add 36 to both sides. Because 9 times 4 meant we really added a 36. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And negative 3 squared is 9. So we're adding the 9 inside. And 16 times 9 meant we really added a 144 to both sides. So we have to offset that by adding 144. So when all is said and done, we see that we have 9 times x plus 2 squared plus 16 times y minus 3 squared equals 144. To write this in the standard form, we divide both sides by 144. And 9 over 144 is 1/16. And 16 over 144 is 1/9. And now we graph this. The vertex is -2, 3. In the x direction, we go 4. Both sides, and then 3 up and down. The vertices are on that major axis, which is horizontal. They're both at a y value of 3. And we started at -2, and we went 4 to the left of that, which puts us at -6. And we went 4 to the right of that, which put us at 2. And now the foci, they lie c units from the center, where c squared is a squared minus b squared, larger minus the smaller. 16 minus 9 is 7, so c is square root of 7. To plot those, we recognize that square root of 7 is a little bit smaller than the square root of 9 and a little bit bigger than the square root of 4. Square root of 7 is a little smaller than 3, bigger than 2. So let's call it about 2.7, 2.8, something like that. So from our -2 point, we're going to move around 2.7 to the right and 2.7 to the left. Those are the locations of our foci. The coordinates then, -2, we move to the right by adding √7 to -2 plus √7, +3, and then moving to the left, -√7. We subtract that from -2 and y coordinate of 3. This concludes the video for the review for section 12.4, ellipses.